As a hiring manager and as an individual that's gone through this process of,
Mhm.
having to look for a new role over the past, you know, multiple companies you've changed over the past, 6, 7 years, what's your biggest advice to a job seeker today? What would you tell them to do to be the most successful they can be on looking for a great job and finding that wonderful job like you found at Samsung?
I think, part of it is staying, cultivating your network, and part of that is helping others, right? And making sure that you're investing time in growing your network and developing relationships, and then finding ways to give back and help others when they need it, and kind of building your equity that out in the marketplace, right? If you're working in a company or a set of customers, making sure your customers see that you are helpful, responsive, and you have good customer references, right? And that you're building towards something, right? You're taking on roles again that are impactful, purposeful. You're moving for the right set of reasons. I think one of the flags I and others see sometimes is you see people some people have a track record of switching jobs every 1 to 2 years, and they look like hoppers, and even if they were, it was something that they had planned to do. It's kind of like, why are you moving so frequently, right? And if there's not something obvious, an obvious progression that's coming out of that, and there's depth, you start to say, is it just, they just get bored easy, or they just they're not good at selecting a company and or performing, and they kind of move when things get kind of tough. You just a lot of kind of negative questions kind of go into that mix. So I think it's being purposeful about what you want to do, what your goals are, what your longer term goals are, trying to make sure you're proceeding in the right direction. You're building your network, you're helping people, you're establishing a good reputation in the marketplace that can be tested, and you have the right balance of networks between people inside your company, outside, the right recruiters as well, who, can be very helpful in some cases, other cases maybe not as helpful. But being very focused on what you want to do in your career and how you take those steps, and pursuing the right development opportunities. It's a combination of things, but I think it's just trying to build relationships with people, and then really focus on that, not just when you need them, but staying active in that and spending a little bit of time every day, time every week, every month, making sure you're leaning into your network, you're helping people, you're communicating, you're keeping people updated, and you're staying relevant. I mean, this opportunity I had right now, if I think back, I knew the hiring manager already very well, but the customers that recommended me, if I go back a couple of cycles, they were not in the roles they were in now. They were in different types of roles, which at the time, candidly, were less important to the jobs I was in. But I stayed in touch with them because they're good people. I worked with them for years. I was interested in the progress of their careers and what new opportunities they were taking on. So I had lunch with them. I had coffee with them. I would see them a couple of times a year and stay in touch. And then lo and behold, 2 years later, they're in a role now that is much more directly relevant to what I'm looking to do. And I've kept in touch with them. We have a good relationship, and they end up recommending me for a position. And if I hadn't stayed in touch with them, they wouldn't have known that I was looking, and they probably wouldn't have recommended me. So it's a very powerful example about the power of your network and investing in relationships, and it really does pay off. There's a multiplying effect. It pays off over time.
If you're actively looking for a full-time role or advisory, board, or consulting opportunity, schedule a call with one of our PCNEs at fellow.us/schedule, and make sure to visit Fellow at www.hellofellow.com.